this is Lengua of the Property Show. I'm sitting here with Glenn Estrabillo, CEO of 1PLUS12. Hi Glenn, how are you doing?
Excellent.
Good, good. We're sitting here at the Hyatt, the location of the upcoming property show this October 18th. And Glenn, why don't you tell us a bit about who you are and your background?
Yeah, well first of all, Crystal, I just want to start off by saying, it's a real honor and privilege to be able to speak at the property show again. I know at the last few events we had just an amazing time, and the people that you bring and attract to your events are just amazing.
Thank you, thank you. It was a really good response to your speaking as well, so we're absolutely thrilled to have you guys now back as a corporate sponsor, so that's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, so a little bit about myself, my background's actually, I never started off as a real estate investor. My background's actually in engineering, so
oh wow.
I went, the picture perfect way that my parents taught me to do. I come from a very large Filipino family, so you're either a doctor, yeah, good food, but you're either a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. Yeah. So I found out early on that blood makes me kind of squeamish, so that kind of X'd out being a doctor. So it's between lawyer and engineer, and I chose engineering. So I went to the University of Waterloo, got my engineering degree, and actually worked for GE Canada for a couple of years. But as I was sitting in my cubicle one day,
with the bright lights and beautiful walls.
Yeah, the bright beige colored walls. I remember I was sitting there one day, and there was always this voice in the back of my head saying, is this it? Is this all that my life is for? Now, luckily at that point, I answered myself. I said, no, this is not it. So that began my journey on becoming an entrepreneur. I really wanted to be my own, start my own business and be my own boss, if you will. And so I started researching on what different avenues to start a business in, and I happened to come across a lot of content about how to be a real estate investor. So I started investing in real estate really at the early 2000s, when the market was really hot.
Yeah, it was going this way.
Yeah, it's going straight up. So I remember my first house that I bought was a small little 3-2 house, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house converted into a 5-bedroom, and is in downtown Hamilton. Okay. And I rented it out to students of McMaster.
Nice.
Yeah, so that really earned me a very generous amount of cash flow. And so I got really excited, and within the first year and a half I went from 1 property to 10 properties.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is expensive. Good for you.
Thank you. And at that point, just like the game Monopoly, where you trade in a couple houses.
You did not go to jail.
That's right. Did not go to jail. Traded the equity in 10 properties and moved into my first foray into commercial investing and bought my first apartment building that I still influence today in the city of Hamilton.
Wow, you should be so proud of yourself. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And it was a great learning experience for me, but after I moved into the commercial realm, I started to notice that my cash flow from my investments was actually way more than my salary as an engineer. So at the age of 28, I had a really amazing choice. I could continue doing both, or I could just retire from one and focus on the other.
Wow, so you were doing both?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
So
I thought you had left the cubicle and continued this. Wow.
No, I built that initial portfolio.
Good for you. Safety. Good for you. Yeah.
So that initial portfolio, we really built it part-time, if you will, on top of my day job. But as I said, when my cash flow became much larger than my engineering salary, I got to
make that choice.
And I chose to retire from my engineering job.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience of what it's like, to experience the freedom that many of us, myself and my early years included, many of us think about or talk about, but don't actually
manifest. Scary.
It is, in the beginning.
Right? You take that leap of faith though, right?
Definitely. So the great news about that was after I retired for the first time, I made a lot of money, but my character was not a match for the amount of money I was attracting.
Okay.
So I was making really bad decisions, extravagant spending, because I didn't have a financial policy.
You were pretty young as well.
Yeah, I was. And, being young, making a lot of money, we do what young people do.
That's it.
Spend on the finer things in life. But I learned the lesson the hard way, a few string of bad deals here and there. I lost a lot of money. And so it wasn't until I took on the what I call and what we call at 1+12 self-mastery. It wasn't until I took that process on that I was able to elevate my character to be a match for my wealth, and then begin to support the wealth I was producing with the proper structures that protected my wealth and enabled me to perpetuate it for generations. And that's when authentically, that's when I say I really retired for the second time at the age of 32.
Which is still, relatively young.
Yeah, so it still beat my Freedom 55 from my engineering days.
So what is 1+12, and what is it you guys offer people?
So 1+12 really came about when I met up with my 3 other business partners. We really had it in mind that if we were going to create a business, it was going to be something that was going to elevate people financially, but at the same time empower them with the kind of freedom, power, and full self-expression in life, so that they could actually enjoy the fruits of their labor. So essentially we created 1+12, which is an educational company, and as an education company, what we solely focus on is developing people to be, number 1, financially independent, but number 2, free human beings. So we partner with our clients and we mentor them on how to invest in asset vehicles such as real estate, but also other asset classes, in such a way that they are able to produce, protect, and perpetuate their wealth. So we essentially, said another way, what we've done is we've created a unique curriculum where people can earn while they learn. Because that's how I learned. I made money and I learned while I made money. It was not one then the other. Right?
Well, it was a process. So why 1+12?
Well, what's 1+12?
13. Lucky 13?
Lucky 13. That's it.
Awesome.
And it really pulls it. 13 is a very lucky number. Many people don't understand this, but historically, 13 has its roots over hundreds of years. You think about Jesus and the 12 disciples. You think about Muhammad and the 12 prophets of Islam. You think about King Arthur and the 12 Knights of the Round Table. There is something very powerful about 13, but more specifically, 1+12. So there's always 1 who acts like a mentor or the leader plus 12.
So together they're very powerful. Together
they are very powerful because 13 is actually the number of transcendence.
Well, I know in every culture, 13 is, well, my husband's Italian, so, 13 is a very lucky number.
Very lucky number.
Yeah, right. So we love 13 in our house, so yeah, I was just always curious. Thanks for, clarifying that. That's fantastic.
Very good. And 1+12 actually denotes our corporate structure. Remember I said we've become financial partners with the people we invest with? Well, how many financial partners do you think we take on? 12. 12. So
what do I win? What do I win? That's fantastic.
Because we want to ensure that, the 12 like-minded people is a very powerful synergy gets created. And when you add the 1, which is us as the mentors, now everybody becomes the 13th member of the group. So everybody represents, relative to the others, the epitome of transcendence beyond not just financial independence, but freedom as a person.
So you guys are running just a brand. You guys are living your brand. Like you guys are 1+12. That's fantastic. Exactly. Brand cohesiveness at its best.
Perfect. So that's why 1+12.
And how do you ensure that your clients actually implement and take action on the advice and the direction that you kind of push them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know about yourself, but I know I'm definitely guilty of this. Early on in my investing career, I used to go to these seminars, and I've noticed many people go to all these seminars and workshops, and they come out really fired up, right?
Yeah.
6 months to a year later,
that fizzles.
It fizzles,
yeah.
And again, I was guilty of this myself too. That's why I can relate. But we found that most people come out of these seminars and they don't actually do anything with what they learn. So when my partners and I created 1+12, we wanted to make sure that embedded into the design of our curriculum, there's a very powerful structure for effective coaching, but effective accountability. So what we found is, what people don't want from us is what won't make a difference for them in implementing what they learn is it won't make a difference for us to be their financial educator. What really makes the difference is for us to be their financial partner.
So they're being held accountable.
Yes. And that is a critical axiom of how we can ensure that people actually follow through with what we teach them, because we're actually partners.
Yeah. So if they falter, it's bringing back to you. So it's not like you can't go under the radar.
That's right.
That's right.
No one flies under the radar.
That's good. Fantastic. So what are you 1+12 investing in that most investors are missing, either because they don't know about it or they just don't know how to?
Well, as I said earlier, at 1+12 we operate as institutional investors. So largely our deals and transactions, we acquire them directly from banks or other financial institutions that we have built, close relationships with over decades that we've been together. My partners and I, we have collectively over 50 years of investing experience. So which makes it great for clients of 1+12, because since they're our financial partners, they're literally getting access to these kinds of deals that normally on their own they wouldn't get access to, because truthfully these deals and transactions are just not open to the general public.
Kind of like it falls into like who you know.
Exactly. So largely we're, while we've observed a lot of Canadians are investing in the US, which is great because we're doing that as well.
Yeah.
But what we also found, especially over the last 8 months to a year, Canadians are leaving a lot of deals on the table here in Canada.
There's a lot of hot spots here right now.
Goodness,
and like you said, I think going back to people hearing of the trends first, is that people are kind of following and going into the US trends or stuff like that, but they're missing the trend that is here and now under their noses.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I'll be speaking about at the property show, specific trends regarding Canada, right? Because a lot of people don't know. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
bring
more
the money
so,
back.
That's right, bring the money back, and more so than ever, because in Canada, there are families right now who are on the verge of default. Very analogous to the families I worked with almost 5 or 6 years ago in the US. And so we're positioning our clients to, provide a buffer, or what we call a mezzanine financing strategy that will enable us to assist homeowners who are on the verge of default, and at the same time generate significant returns for our clients and for us. So it really becomes a win-win-win strategy.
So why should people come to the property show to hear you speak?
Yeah.
What will you be speaking on?
The biggest thing that I'll be speaking on is, at 1+12 we operate as institutional investors, so we actually get access to where the smart money is mobilizing and allocating their funds, but also a large part of our company is dedicated to research and development. So we've actually been following up and keeping track of certain trends.
Oh, great.
So at the property show, I'll be sharing 3 unspoken trends that actually point to the next coming Canadian real estate crisis.
Everyone knows how important analytics are right now and really measuring insight. You want to make sure that you're following the trends, and
for sure
that if you're ahead of the game, that's even better. So
definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about what those unspoken trends are, but more importantly, I'll be sharing 3 uncommon strategies that we're implementing right now, and anybody can implement, as long as they do it the correct way, to position themselves, right? To position themselves to not just profit in the next few years, but to prosper perpetually. So I'm going to be sharing real case studies of deals and transactions that we've actually done, so that people get the real life on the court mechanics of how they can position themselves to benefit from the pending trends that are coming to light in the next few years here in Canada.
I'll be sitting there. Fantastic, fantastic. So if people can't make it to the property show, which it happens, how can people get access and benefit from what you offer?
First thing is, they better come to the property show. You heard it here first, right?
Nothing is more important.
But if you can't, definitely people can access us through our website. That's www.1plus12.com. That's the number 1PLUS and number 12.com. And then what people do, what I encourage everyone to do, is log into that website and subscribe to the email list, because as a bonus, I travel a lot. And when I'm inspired by, the beautiful beaches that I'm on, we always do an educational video.
I've noticed that actually on your websites. It actually helps me, when I'm daydreaming and I want to get away, I sign on and I'm like, this is fantastic. When you're hammocks and waterfalls, I'm like, this is the kind of life, who doesn't want that?
That's right. And when people see those images, it will actually put you in the most optimal learning state. That's why we film those videos in those beautiful places so that people, you know, that for those of you who are watching, you can see the videos, but you'll be able to ingrain and receive the knowledge and information that we deliver. So when you subscribe to that, to the newsletter online, you'll get these training videos from all around the world for absolutely free. And I always work in certain axioms. Axioms mean universal truths. So I work in certain axioms of what it is to be a successful investor.
So for 1PLUS12, is your target audience people who already have money like sitting to invest, or is your clientele somebody who like just anybody can come up and be trained? Like, could I come? I don't have lots of access money, but maybe a little bit to play with. Would I be able to come to 1PLUS12 and you guys would be able to help me?
Absolutely. One of the criteria that we have is, there's 13 different characteristics we look at when we're potentially going to bring someone on board as a client or a financial partner.
Great.
And one of those characteristics is, the amount of capital they have access to. Not the amount of capital they have.
So the money under my mattress.
But another characteristic, which is what you pointed out, Crystal, is this, is as long as people have a desire and that perseverance to follow through their initial plan of action, then we know we can work with them. So those are two of the characteristics that we look at when we're prospectively entertaining taking somebody on as a financial partner.
Fantastic. So what do I do, or what does one do to become one of the 12?
Great question. Because as you can probably tell, we're very particular about the kinds of people we take on as financial partners. We have to be.
Yeah, right? You mentioned specific characteristics that you look for.
Definitely, because we had a lot of people, knocking on our doors wanting to partner with us, but we have to be very specific and particular. So what we've designed is a very rigorous screening procedure.
Quality, not quantity.
Absolutely. So we have a 2-day intensive workshop that we call a pre-qualification workshop. This is the basic foundational workshop where people must participate in that in order to be eligible to qualify to be a partner with us. Here's why that's such a great thing, because over the 2 days, people get to pre-qualify us. They get to hear what we do, the different strategies we employ, but more importantly, how we operate as people.
Which is great because they're investing in you as well.
That's right. So over the 2 days, they get to pre-qualify us, but on the other side of the coin, we're pre-qualifying them. We're observing how people participate in the workshop, the kinds of questions they ask, what they do or don't do with specific financial data that's given to them or opportunities to profit.
Smart.
Yeah, because during the 2-day, while everybody has the opportunity to profit, only 2 people actually will that weekend.
Yeah.
And that tells us a lot about different people. So once people complete that basic training, that pre-qualification, we give people an opportunity to self-select. People have to request to be invited to what we call a briefing session about our curriculum. And our curriculum is a 5-year curriculum where we work together with people the next 5 years to take them from wherever they are financially in the present moment to achieving and manifesting their financial goals in 5 years. So
a 5-year term, it's a pretty good. It's enough to get something done without being. It's a good term for goals. Even personal, financial, anything. A 5-year term is short enough, but that's comforting that you guys actually go through that coming from someone looking in.
Exactly, because we want to make sure that we can really hold hold people's hands right in the beginning until they're able to walk on their own 2 feet financially and begin to sprint. Right? So what we do is in that process, after they've completed the briefing session, people have to apply.
Oh, after the briefing session?
After the briefing session.
Okay.
They must apply, and they have to fill out a financial assessment. Now, the application and the financial assessment on its own are highly transformational. And based on their application and assessment, we bring them in for a 90-minute interview. And that interview, whether or not they're accepted to be our financial partner, what we promise everybody is they will actually see what's missing in their current financial situation. We've had people where we've turned them away who said, look, you need to do this and this and this, and then in a year you can reapply.
That's fantastic. That's valuable information without even, that's great of you guys, to be able to offer that to people.
Definitely.
Because who's to say they won't come back afterwards, and already be keen, and that the people that are coming back are someone that would potentially be a really good 112.
So that's why we had to create that's not why we had to, but that's why we created the rigorous screening procedure to ensure that the level of integrity of the people we partner with is on par with the level of integrity of the content and training that we deliver.
Yeah, I think it's it sounds great, especially even going through the process, knowing that you're doing it for everyone else, I think is comforting.
Yes.
So I think that's fantastic. Great.
When people are accepted, what it looks like is, we take people through what we call 4 phases of wealth. And this is not something we made up. It's something we've observed. I went through the 4 phases of wealth myself personally. My partner, he went through the 4 phases of wealth himself because he comes from a generationally wealthy family.
Okay.
So his dad and his grandfather went through the 4 phases of wealth, and all of our friends who are intergenerationally wealthy, they all move through these 4 phases of wealth. So
nature.
Just nature. So in our 5-year curriculum, we move people through 4 phases of wealth. The first one being acquisition, where people acquire knowledge, skill set, experience, capital, and what we call hard real estate. That means actual real estate transactions, bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
Then the second phase is what's called diversification. But it's not diversification in the normal sense where you start investing in different asset classes. No, we focus still in the industry of real estate, but we diversify into the soft side of real estate. This is where we get into the paper side of real estate.
So it's kind of more like you're weaning them in. Okay.
Then, the third phase of wealth, capital growth and preservation, this is when we actually empower people to move out beyond real estate. Things like precious metals, precious stones, energy, other businesses, mergers and acquisitions. And then beyond that, it's all, the 4th phase of wealth is actually what we call succession. This is where people now start to confront their mortality and begin to put the structures in place today to ensure that the wealth they've amassed over the first 3 phases can be passed on seamlessly with the minimum amount of taxes and the maximum amount of asset protection to their kids or their loved ones should something happen to them.
That's fantastic.
So really, we're not necessarily a real estate investment company. We just pick real estate because that's what we focus on in the first 2 phases, and because real estate happens to be an asset class where there's very low barriers to entry, meaning it's very easy to work with people in that asset class. But wealth perpetuation really empowers people to move beyond real estate. You'll always have real estate, cash flow and real estate in the background.
And I think real estate too is because it's it's very common and everyone can relate to real estate. I think it's a little more like when you're just stepping into it, a little easier, to explain to people on a real estate front, something that they know of.
You can go there, touch it.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Where some of the other asset classes, when we move beyond into the 3rd or 4th phases, it's very much on the investment banking side. But that is critical to wealth perpetuation because the rates of returns and the types of deals and transactions we do with our clients at that level would make investing in real estate, it pales in comparison.
Yeah.
But, like I said, we handhold people in the beginning.
Safety zone.
That's right. So they begin to learn how to walk on their own, and then when they're ready to sprint, we sprint with them.
Oh, that must be so amazing though to watch someone that you've handheld from, infancy to, this sprinting, as you say. It just must be so amazing just to watch them, just keep going.
Still an experience in my entire life. That's why, myself and my partners, that's why one of the core reasons why we invented 1+12, because that satisfaction and fulfillment of empowering and enabling just one more person to be financially independent and free is unlike any experience out there, and that's why we do what we do.
Wow, it's very powerful. Thank you so much for coming down and sitting with us. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and October 18th, Saturday, October 18th, we hope to see you at the property show alongside 1+12, Glenn and his team, and starts at 9. We'll see you then.
Property show, October 18th.
Better copy.